A wild story tonight where it appears nearly 20,000 people have vouched for the whereabouts of a man accused of destroying flock cameras in West Virginia. Thousands of people have publicly said they were with or saw 20-year-old Wesley Jackson during the time he was accused of the crime, with comments such as, "Couldn't be him. He was helping me replace the roof on a homeless shelter. And I saw him serving at a soup kitchen at the time of the incident." He has pleaded not guilty to the crimes against him.
Folks, these are the best coffins, Golden Club Goy coffins. Only $9 out of $99 with a mail-in rebate. Believe me, get yours today. They're tremendous.
How do I relax? Well, like many other Americans, I come home and I pet my dog. You see, petting your dog is one of the most relaxing things you can possibly do. It releases a hormone called oxytocin, which reduces stress. Also, it lowers your heart rate and it lowers your blood pressure.
Okay, we got a P320 right here. A little chamber check there. We're gonna holster it here. Oh.
I love to show the texture and this wave pattern. Again, it looks like you went and got a blow job at your blowout at your salon. Oh my God. And it looks beautiful.
All right, so here's what's happening today. We're having a huge beauty sale.
Jews are God's chosen people, and the Gentiles must learn their purpose in life is to fight and die for Israel.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then do
available.
And homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
Are you retarded?
Well, last week I had expressed some doubt that the political will existed for Fauci to be held in contempt of Congress for invoking the Fifth Amendment over 100 times while testifying despite a presidential pardon. But it turns out I was wrong. The Senate committee did in fact vote to hold him in contempt and sent a referral for prosecution to the Department of Justice. Meaning that the decision whether to prosecute this is left up to the discretion of newly confirmed Attorney General and cocksucker extraordinaire Todd Blanche.
Oh, no!
And for all the optimism and high hopes that came with RFK Jr. getting confirmed as HHS Secretary, while he was out there saying good things in Fox News interviews,
Lyme disease that almost certainly came from these experiments that is now devastating our country. RSV that came from a laboratory, which is now the biggest killer of children in our country. And of course the COVID-19 pandemic, which was a trauma for the whole globe. And all of those have been linked credibly to gain-of-function research. So it's something that with enormous costs and no proven benefits.
At the same time, a new director of the CDC was being confirmed. A woman named Erica Schwartz. Ugh, that's some nice jewelry you got there, lady.
Oh, fucking hell.
She's a former deputy surgeon general and was a higher up in the Coast Guard medical whatever the fuck, and a big proponent of mandating the coof jabs for troops.
I do believe that mRNA...
You're all welcome over afterwards, yeah.
I do believe that mRNA technology is safe and effective.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You're all welcome over afterwards.
Shut up!
And also at the same time, the FDA has now approved Moderna's first ever mRNA flu shot, because the trials went so swimmingly, as you can clearly see from the data. Not to mention the unprecedented success that we witnessed with the original mRNA jab.
This study is highly disturbing. They found 100% of COVID-19 vaccinated individuals have these circulating anomalous amyloid microclots in their blood. This is misfolded fibrin that sticks to many biologically active materials circulating in the body, and it conglomerates into these irregular masses that block blood flow and cause all sorts of horrible issues. It's the exact same pathology that has been identified as being behind the long, white fibrous clots being pulled out of corpses worldwide. Majority of embalmers now across the globe do now pull these white fibrous clots out of corpses, and this is what's behind them. So if it's in 100% of the vaccinated population, we are running into a serious issue here. This needs to be investigated immediately by the CDC, do their job for a change, and investigate what is happening to the population. And even those who were unvaccinated, there was only about 4 of them, but it appears they also did have these circulating amyloid fibrils in their blood. And so we don't know how many people these are inside of, but based on this sample, which they didn't know they would have these clots, but when they looked, it was in all of them.
Clearly, I owe a huge apology to all the white pillars that have been saying that accountability is coming and that Fauci is going to be used as a linchpin to bring down the entire corrupt medical system. Although I do have to admit it is a little bit odd that things are being framed as though it was all Fauci, and there aren't plenty of other people who deserve to be hung for violations of the Nuremberg Code.
Where these messenger RNA Frankenshots come from, DARPA awards Moderna Therapeutics a grant for up to $25 million to develop messenger RNA therapeutics. So notice DARPA is the Pentagon. Let me repeat that. DARPA is the Pentagon. The Pentagon bought, paid for, envisioned these mRNA Frankenshots. And I should also point out, Fort Detrick was involved in the development of COVID-19, the offensive biological warfare weapon at the University of North Carolina, BSL-3. So the Pentagon is both sides of the argument here. They're developing the weapon and the alleged vaccines.
That, if you aren't aware, was Francis Boyle, who not only authored the bioweapons treaty that the U.S. and pretty much all the developed countries around the world signed onto, he also accurately predicted everything about the COOF pandemic, from where it was that the gain-of-function research had taken place, to what kind of adverse events and reactions we were going to end up seeing as a result of the jabs. I wonder whatever happened to that guy.
Ooh, I know this one.
Well, go ahead then, spit it out.
I killed him!
You are correct, sir. And by correct, I mean...
Allegedly!
See, it was probably just a huge coincidence that right after he agreed to testify against people like Bill Gates and Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla, he, died suddenly and unexpectedly. And we've got some other wonderful news. A lot of those same people responsible for the worst of the COOF carnage have now developed an experimental Ebola-vax.
You can't even make this up. So CEPI, co-founded by the Gates Foundation, by the way, gave Moderna and the University of Oxford 4 months ago $26 million to develop mRNA and viral vector injections against the Bundi-Bujo strain, the same strain now in the Congo outbreak, the new outbreak. So 4 months ago, they began developing these genetic-based injections for that very strain.
And apparently there are ongoing trials in Colorado for this latest miracle of modern medicine. And I'm sure that's going to go over just great because They're definitely not going to try to push a vaccine out there that sheds onto other people. In fact, they even did a placebo-controlled randomized study to demonstrate that. Because obviously, if you're going to have a vaccine program for a very deadly disease, you definitely don't want particles of that disease shedding on people that happen to come in contact. And in this study, they found that the shedding happened only 31.7% of the time. Which, yes, 31.7% can seem like a lot. But these people know what they're doing. We just need to trust the experts, okay? And the experts are saying that overall this data supports the use of this jab that is unpronounceable. So obviously you should pay no attention to anybody that says that this development should be alarming. And we definitely need not worry our pretty little heads about the possibility that these jabs could induce some kind of mutation, right?
Yes, but no. But yes.
Yeah, this definitely couldn't possibly be a cover story as to how all of a sudden there was a mutation and suddenly we've got a highly transmissible or maybe even airborne strain of Ebola. That could never happen. Or maybe I'm being too cynical.
Yeah, you need to be more positive.
What's your message to America?
You know, my message to America is optimism. There's a lot of people out there with a negative message and are getting traction because they're being negative. Look at the good side. Look at the bright side. We are in such a great position to take this victory home and set our country up for such success to continue the golden age. Don't give in to the naysayers out there who are saying that there's nothing good going to happen, because we're in the middle of it and you can make it happen. It's within you to make it happen. That's my message.
I love that. The Lord put that on my heart a couple years ago. Wake up. Thank the Lord for all of the blessings in your life. Don't focus on the negative. Blake, I love that, brother. That's a great way to end today. The line continues down here. We're going to head upstairs right now. God bless you guys. God bless America. Midterms. Save America.
Are you kidding me?
Of course I am.
Good. For a second there, I thought we might have to load you into the retard squisher. This fucking guy. We're in such a great position to take this victory home. So don't listen to the naysayers and the negative Nellies. The whole time he was talking, I could hear Mr. Garrison in my head.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert!
It's not like I have no appreciation for the power of positive thinking, but a lot of people like to think they're being optimistic and positive, when really it's more like delusional and in denial. Why, just think happy thoughts and everything will be okay. In fact, if you just concentrate on thinking happy thoughts, you'll be able to fly away to fucking Never Never Land.
I got something to show you, Bert.
What is it? Is it titties?
Nope, a flashbang.
And now, the weekly flashbang.
You have no expectation of privacy in public. Somebody has said that to you about these cameras. Maybe a cop, maybe your brother-in-law. They're quoting the Supreme Court, and they're not wrong. They just stopped reading too early. 1983, United States versus Knots. Police hit a radio beeper in a drum of chloroform. They followed the drum down public roads to a cabin. No warrant. Knots said that was a search. The court disagreed, and the judgment was unanimous. Rehnquist wrote it, page 281. A person traveling in an automobile on public thoroughfares has no reasonable expectation of privacy in his movements from one place to another. That's the line. That's where it comes from. It's good law today. It's the sentence every agency lawyer sends me when I ask them about plate cameras. And they're right to send it. It says what they say it says. Now turn 2 pages. Knott's lawyers had put a warning in their brief, and the court quoted it. 24-hour surveillance of any citizen of this country will be possible without judicial knowledge or supervision. 1983. They were describing 2026. And the court answered them. If such dragnet-type law enforcement practices as respondent envisions should eventually occur, there will be time enough then to determine whether different constitutional principles may be applicable. Wow. Dragnet. The U.S. Supreme Court picked that word, 1983. I say AI dragnet. The AI half is mine, and I'll say so every time. That sentence is a rain check. If the dragnet shows up, we'll deal with it then. 43 years. Same opinion, page 283. We have never equated police efficiency with unconstitutionality, and we decline to do so now. Efficiency was the whole point. They said it out loud. So the court wrote the trigger itself. Dragnet-type law enforcement practices. 116,017 searches on one city's cameras. I'm not a judge. Whether that clears the bar is above my pay grade. The bar exists. That's the part I can prove. So next time somebody hits you with the privacy in public thing, you say this. That's nuts. 1983. Read 2 more pages. They called it a dragnet and said they'd deal with it when it showed up. It showed up. 6 more cases after this one, 6 more comebacks. Somebody said this to you. Send it back to them.
I have no idea who that Viking dude is, but that was a good little clip. And it really is sad, the reaction that I get sometimes when I'm trying to talk to people about the problems with the surveillance grid. And they just shrug it off like, oh well. It's another example of people using their denial as a shield or a suit of armor. But meanwhile, a lot of those same people, if it happened to be some random jackass with a GoPro instead filming him, that they have a big fucking problem with. And you could say what you want about these people, that they're just trying to provoke and agitate, get a reaction for their little YouTube channel. But it's more than just the fact that they're actually exercising their rights. It highlights the fact that people will get so worked up of someone taking footage of them, which I guarantee none of the footage that any of these people caught was ever really going to be detrimental to you. I mean, even some of the ones that freak out and act like total Karens, yeah, it might be a little bit embarrassing simply because of that. But when you compare that to a corporate entity working hand in glove with the government to create a database of literally where everyone goes and what everyone does, and which provably and demonstrably has already affected innocent people in a detrimental way. I mean, tell me your ass backwards without telling me your ass backwards. And now on top of all the other fuckery that they've been up to, they're buying up copies of rare books by the millions, and then scanning them in to feed the AI, and apparently under some kind of weird fucking copyright loophole. And I shit you not, this is legal because they're destroying the book after they scan it. Isn't that just lovely? And if at some point in the future we want access to the information that was in those books, I'm sure we can totally rely on these people to accurately relay that to us. And interestingly enough, a guy named Joe Fells was doing something similar. He was a collector of very rare and unknown books that he felt should be shared more widely. So he was scanning these books into a digital library and just giving people access.
Sitting in front of me are several centuries of hidden and lost information. I'm going to make a digital library out of everything you see here and some not pictured as well. This is one of 3 Bibles I have. 1878 print, contains pictures, illustration, and information not contained in a normal Bible. Conversations on the Bible. Enoch Pond, 1889. Do we need a Bible? What belongs to the Bible? By whom and where were the books of the Bible written? The lost books of the Bible. Christ and Abgarus. I've never heard of Abgarus. Paul and Seneca. Paul knew Seneca? Letters of Herod and Pilate. Those are the guys who crucified Jesus. The earliest gospel, 1943. Mark was the earliest book written in the New Testament. It was written about 50 years after Jesus died. Was Mark written in Aramaic? Was Mark anti-Semitic? I've never heard any of this mentioned in any church or Bible anywhere. Am I a Jew or Gentile? It's by Thomas Davies, 1893. Cosmology or Mysteries of Creation, the Hebraic account of creation, supported by the development of existing acts of God toward matter, Adam and Ha-Adam. What? Ancient Magic and Magnetism and Sacred Forces by L.H. Anderson, 1895. Very obscure Masonic author. This one discusses how magnetism is everything. In Chapter 3, Secrets of the Egyptian Magi. Night Scenes of the Bible, with the hidden U.S. history in the cover. Daniel March, 1869. Jonah's night at Nineveh. You want to know what happens after the whale spit him out? The Bible's only part of history, so I've included a lot of other sources in the search for truth. Taoist yoga, the Chinese art of kindness, all new to me. History of Freemasonry. Daniel MacDonald, 1898. Physics and Physiology of Spiritualism, W.A. Hammond, 1871. There is an inherent tendency in the mind of man to ascribe supernatural agencies to the events of causes which are beyond his knowledge. The Outline of History by H.G. Wells, 1920. Earth and Space and Time, The Record of the Rocks, Life and Climate, The Age of Reptiles. There are 3 books before we even hit the Bible. Heroes of European History, Louise Creighton, 1907. Christopher Columbus, Part 3, Chapter 2. That's how much history is contained in there. America starts here. 1967 Economic Almanac. This book contains information on the USSR, which isn't even a country anymore. Then the part they told us is evil. Encyclopedia of Demonology and Witchcraft. This book chronicles the Inquisitions, the Salem witch trials, and all the people who were tortured and murdered for being witches. Dr. Michael Fels. My dad wrote this book about his missionary work in Papua New Guinea to formerly cannibalistic tribes. Read chapter 12, the story about when Joe Fels was born and my daddy delivered me. The original teachings of Zoroaster, the oldest religion known to man. Marion Crawford, 1885. I'm going to put all of these on a website that I own and control so nobody can ever change it or take away from it, and we're going to have a discussion board where people can talk about this stuff in an open forum. That way the world can finally find out the truth. I can't wait to bring these to the world because knowledge is really power.
Well, can you guess what happened to him? Yes, he was found dead, suddenly and unexpectedly at age 40. And as for the digital library that he was putting online, well, it's still accessible, at least according to G-Rock. So you can go there and register for free, and then, apparently, the link to register is no longer active. And sure, some of the more suspiciously minded of you might see all this as a little bit weird, but you're just being paranoid. This is just a big coincidence and there's absolutely nothing sinister going on here, which is exactly what's being said by his loved ones, including his girlfriend, who has now taken over his massively successful Instagram account. So there you have it, nothing to see here. And as for the AI companies, so much of this shit could so easily have the kibosh put on it if it weren't for some very deliberate and calculated misapplications and non-applications of existing law. You know, like copyright law in this case, and that could also be applied to AI music and filmmaking. But then some of the other things are perfect candidates for bringing a case under the Sherman Antitrust Act, like the surveillance pricing issue.
This is one of the biggest scams in American history. Do you think that it would be fine to double or triple the price of an airline ticket for someone flying to a funeral? There was a disturbing incident that played out on Twitter, on X, that shed some light, I think, on how airlines are using surveillance pricing in real time right in front of us. I think I've got the relevant exchange over my shoulder here. You have an ex-user who in April, this is April of this year, posted that he had seen a $230 price increase in one day when he was booking travel for a funeral on JetBlue. $230 price increase. They're going to figure out how they can rip you off one person at a time. They're not going to charge you the same fare they charge your neighbor. They're not going to charge you the same fare as the guy sitting next to you in the seat. They're going to figure out how they can bilk you out of every dime they're willing to pay every time you step on an airline. And it's not just going to be them. It's going to be the grocery stores and everybody else until we figure out how to bring transparency, how to bring honesty, and some protections for the American consumer.
Yes, we just need to figure out how to bring transparency and honesty and protections for the American consumer.
Are you retarded?
I mean, maybe I'm way off base here, but something tells me if the DOJ were to bring just one antitrust case against one company because of price gouging through AI surveillance pricing, that shit would stop immediately. And now for the latest news on the World War III front.
I heard we're close to a deal.
Yeah, Bob, I heard that too. That's how I knew it was Monday. And I saw this the other day. It cracked me up probably more than it should have.
It's an amazing thing. We have a little problem with Iran because we have many talks and we'll say we have or we don't have. You know, we're straight about it. But they deny, but they're not denying it now. They just put out a statement not denying it. But for some reason, they, when they're talking, they don't like saying that they're talking. So I say, wait, we're in talks. Big deal. We're in talks. And they'll sometimes deny it.
They just don't want to admit that we're in talks. I mean, I say, oh, we're in talks, you know, big deal. I'm sure it couldn't be the fact that it seems like every single time you say that you're having talks, you're also claiming how desperate they are to make a deal. You think maybe they take issue with that? Because as a casual observer of the past 5+ months, it doesn't seem to me that they're the ones that are fucking desperate. You know, we had this Operation APEC Fury, which was supposed to cause their regime to fall within days, and then weeks, and then, well, pretty soon. And now it just seems like the primary goal is getting back to where the fuck we were before February 28th with respect to the global trade situation. For all of our super high-tech precision-guided missiles and bombs, we haven't brought them to their knees, and our stockpiles are getting massively low, and our remaining options for how to proceed are extremely limited. I mean, we could try some kind of ground operation and probably see the highest amount of casualties that our military's seen since fucking Vietnam. And as bad an idea as that is, the other one I hear being shopped around is even worse. Oh, maybe we'll just use some tactical fucking nukes. And this would have been such an easily avoidable situation had we minded our own fucking business for once. But unfortunately, we have to remain subservient to the tiny hats. And a lot of people think that there's some kind of compromise material on Trump, some Epstein-type material that they're holding over his head. And personally, I think it's just as likely that Bibi came to the Oval Office and said, listen, if you don't do exactly what we want,
I'm gonna kill your whole fucking family.
Although really there's no reason why both couldn't be true. But whatever the case, we have a serious human centipede situation going on here. And maybe it happens after the midterms, or some kind of false flag event gets normie America to start waving those flags all patriotically again to march to war. But either way, it will escalate. Because if an off-ramp was really what was wanted, it would have been taken already. Sláinte.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my word, and I don't break them for no one. You understand?
So say good night to the bad guy. 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 Come on. Come on. at you now. Look at you now.
What's the situation here, sir?
Let's get the fuck out of here, Louis.
Jesus, Van. You just iced a woman, you know that?
A cop. You just shot a cop. They want to be equal. I made her equal.